Listen, student, I am Dr. Arvind Kumar, Faculty of Management, Jamui Govt.engineering College. I am going to start the class in Cost Management of Engineering project. My topic is standard costing. Here, what is mean by a standard? It is a subject of standardizations of any cost in efficient manner that leads to better activity in any business entity. Now I commence that in a brief introduction, and when the classes go on, all the things will clear. So in brief, standard costing means a standardization of the costing in efficient manner for the well-going of any activity concerned in the organization for better performance. The question arises, what is the need of standard costing? Why it is? Because prior to that standard costing, the historical costing proved to be an inefficient costing. Because what is prior is sometimes reflects even the inefficient things. And whenever you copy that or make base of that historical costing, it may be possible the efficiency in the past come in the present and even in the future. So for the improvement of the costing, the standard costing was emerged first in Britain, America in developed country, and then other developing and underdeveloped company followed this concept and techniques of costing. Now, what is in standard cost? The definition of a standard cost is as a predetermined cost. Predetermined cost which is calculated from management's standards of efficient operations and the relevant necessary expenditure. It may be used as a basis for piece fixing and for cost control. This is definition given by ICMA, Institute of Certified Management Associations. This is global. This is global associations, organizations, which standardize the accounting system globally, make uniform the accounting system globally, and world accepts its recommendations. So here in the definitions, the first the predetermined cost, which is calculated from management's standards for efficient operations and the relevant necessary expenditure. It obvious that according to these definitions, the standard cost is predetermined cost. There is a predeterminations for the standard cost. For what? The efficient operation and relevant necessary expenditure. It may be used as a basis for price fixing and for cost control. It's obvious what this definition reflects about the standard cost. Now the standard costing. Standard costing is defined as the preparation and use of a standard cost, their comparison with actual cost, and the analysis of variance to their cause and point of incidence. Here 3 points should be noted. Use of a standard cost, their comparison with actual costs, and the analysis of variance to cause and point of incidence. Whenever a standard cost, this is the definitions of again the ICMA, Institute of Certified Management Association. This is a globally accepted association for uniform accounting system, and world accepts its recommendations. So here in standard costing, the standard costs are used and then comparison with the actual cost. It means the actual cost and standard cost both are not the same. Actual cost means real cost, realistic cost, and it may be possible the standard cost are not same as actual cost. And the analysis of variance. What do you mean by variance? Variance means difference. Difference. Here, the difference of standard cost and actual cost are analyzed, and their couch and specify the point of incidence, the time. So is it clear what is a standard costing? The preparation and use of a standard cost, their comparison with actual cost, and the analysis of variance to their cause and point of incidence. In a standard costing, we use a standard cost, and here there is a comparative analysis with the actual cost, and apart from here the study of the variance means the difference between the standard cost and actual cost is the subject matter, and their causes and the point of with the point of incidence. So this is the definition of standard costing. Now the bihar.M is a accounts expert, well-known, famous accounts expert, define a standard costing as method of ascertaining the cost whereby statistics are prepared to show the standard cost, the actual cost, and the third, the difference between these costs, which is termed the variance, writing of standard costing. The definition of ICMA and the definition of bihar.M both reflects the same things. Now there is some characteristics of standard costing. The first characteristic, standard costing based on a standard cost. It's very simple. A standard costing based on the standard cost. You know it's according to its definitions. Second, comparison between actual cost with the standard cost. Certainly it reflects its by its definitions. Third one, standard costing control cost by analyzing variance and finding out the cause for the difference, so corrective actions to be taken. In standard costing, there is comparison with actual costing, and reason for variance is also studied there, and accordingly the suggestion is here for the corrective actions. So these are the three characteristics of standard costings. Now question arises, what is meant by a standard? Question arises, what is meant by a standard? What is the concept of standard? Standard appropriations meaning with reference to our context is something established as a rule or basis of comparison in measuring or judging quality, quantity, value, etc. This something is not vague but established as a rule or basis of comparison. If one look at the definition of a standard cost and find that the cost of this something is calculated from management's standards of efficient operations and the relevant necessary expenditure. The standard is one which ought to be under the existing conditions with an optimum use of resource and the techniques available. Whenever you talk about the standard, so it is a predetermined things, the standard. And there is some logic, and well accepted things, the standard. All are not empowered to fix the standard. Then there is vagueness. The things are different according to man own standard. No. There is rule, regulations, and mass acceptance. There is some law. There is some law, rules behind that for fixing the standard. So, at that point, the standard is well accepted, mass accepted, verified by law. Then it is so called a standard. The one point is here that the standard is one which ought to be under existing condition with an optimum use of the resources and techniques available. It is true for the fixation of a standard, there is rule and regulations, there is formalities, there is organizations behind that, who is empowered for the standard. No other agencies are empowered for the standardizations. It is true. But its objective is for the optimal resource utilizations. In nutshell, the objective was standardizations is for what? Simple, for the optimum use of the available resources. According to Govt.engineering, standard costs are predetermined or forecast estimate of cost to manufacture a single unit or number of units of a product during a immediate future period. The standard costs are different for estimate cost in much as in estimate cost the emphasis is given to actual cost. The objective of estimate cost plan is fulfilled the moment the estimate cost coincide with the actual cost in large measures. As you know the definition of well done, that is say the standard costs are predetermined or forecast estimate of cost of manufacture a single unit or a number of units of a product during a specific immediate future time. The standard costs are different from the estimate costs in much as in estimate cost the emphasis is given to the actual cost. The objective of estimate cost plan is fulfill the moment the estimate cost coincide with the actual cost in large measures. वेल्डन ने जो परिभाषा दी है उसमें बहुत कुछ जो है वो स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट को जो है वो एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट के बहुत निकट उसने बताया है, लेकिन देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट एंड स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट. Estimated cost is somewhat the actual cost. This is not a standard cost. What is going in actual? Certainly it's come in estimate. It's simple. जो वास्तव में जो है अभी प्रैक्टिसेज में है एस्टिमेट किया जाएगा तो वही कॉस्ट तो आएगा, मोटा मोटी वही कॉस्ट आएगा. सो एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट इज नॉट स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट. बेल्डन साहब के इस परिभाषा से जो है वो स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट वो एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट के निकट हो जाता है, जो कि बहुत कुछ सही नहीं लगता है. द एक्चुअल कॉस्ट what is in real may have so many efficiencies, over budgeting and other irrelevant things is inherent there. And whenever you estimate the things, the actual cost reflected in the estimated cost. But this is not a standard cost. standard cost means standardized. Standard cost reflect the standardized activities. For the full utilizations of the resources and optimum utilization of the resources. There is theory behind the standard cost. So estimated cost is not a standard cost because estimated cost somewhat near about actual cost. What is cost going on? Whenever one estimates, certainly the actual cost come out. But this is not a standard cost. It may possible the estimated cost, the actual cost, may have not full capacity for the utilization of the resources, optimization of the resources. But this is the quality of standard cost. The average cost are also not the standard cost, as the average cost are the average of all type of cost, whether desirable or undesirable from the point of business efficiency. The undesirable cost may be due to poor planning, unnecessary waste, abnormal idle time, etc. Now the projections go that it may be possible the standard cost may be the average cost. No. Even the average cost is not a standard cost, because whenever you done averaging, in the course of averaging, you may average so many irrelevant cost, inefficiencies and other over budgeting, and you make average on such and such basis which is included in the average. So average may be inefficient, not in position to optimize the activities with justifiable costing. But this is the quality of standard costing. Standard costing means efficient costing for the optimizations of resources what is in activity concerns. So average cost is also not the standard cost. A standard is a basis for comparison. There are several bases of comparison, but each of those bases is not standard. In financial accountants, it is customary to show the comparative figure for the last accounting period. In cost accounting, while preparing cost sheet, the current figure are compared with those of previous period, and the deviation are analyzed to find out the cause. But in both the cases, the base for comparison is not a standard base. The reason obviously is that no effect are even made to establish best expenditure. For comparison, in case of cost sheet, while the standard base is established after careful time and motion study, work measurement, and experimentations. In usually the accountants make comparison the recent cost with the previous cost, but this is not the prior in prior costing. In beginning of this classes, I say that there is inefficiency in the historical cost. That's why there is concept of standard costing. And even the existing costing is standard or not, this is the questionable. So both historical cost and the present cost is certainly not a standard cost. Then what is a standard cost? Actual cost is not a standard cost. Average cost is not a standard cost. Estimated cost is not a standard cost. Then what is the question rise and what is the standard costing? Just an standard cost. A standard base for the comparison is established after a careful time and motion study, work, measurement, and experimentations. The standard costing come out from the time and motion study of work. Experimentations is behind that. कोई मुंह से जुबानी जो है स्टैंडर्डाइज नहीं कर दिए जाते हैं किसी चीज़ के कॉस्ट. उसके पीछे अनुसंधान होते हैं, प्रयोग होते हैं, टाइम एंड मोशन स्टडी होता है कि किसी कार्य को जो है वो करने में क्या समय और क्या समय उसमें लगेगी जो है सो. टाइम और मोशन स्टडी जो है वो किए जाते हैं, अनुसंधान किए जाते हैं, प्रयोगशाला में उसको जो है परखे जाते हैं, तब जो है उस कॉस्ट को जो है स्टैंडर्डाइज किया जाता है. कोई मुंह से जुबानी बोल के वो स्टैंडर्डाइज नहीं किए जाते. And this experiment, time motion studies, are absent in actual cost, in estimated cost, in average cost. Only in the standard cost there is experimentations behind that time motion study. So this standard cost is more efficient than average cost, estimated cost, actual cost, because it reflects the real things, that this cost is This cost is suitable cost for such activities, and this is ascertained by experimentation, time motion study, experimentations. प्रयोगशाला में वो सब जो है वो जांच किए जाते हैं एंड स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग के लिए। तो अब ये कक्षा जो है यहीं समाप्त की जाती है। आगे की बातें आगे की कक्षा में होगी।